Hey, welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I am your host, Christian, the unbiased king, Espinal. And joining me through Discord, it is the man, the myth, the legend, the tank top sage. It's Joshua Gangsta Time Cole.
It's called partner, but it should be called gangster time.
Hey, what's good, Chris? What's good,
hey.
everybody listening? I do, in fact, have a tank top on tonight.
Hey,
So,
yeah.
That's one point.
We can't tell because we're still not on video mode, but it is much
Yeah.
appreciaed. The sage is here to bless us. It's just me and Josh this week. Our young producer, edgelord, big news, Brian, is currently in the process of moving into his first place. So I don't have an applause drop, but so this is for him.
Yes, Brian will be missed, and I can't believe he missed today.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
yeah, it's a big.
But we'll get into that later.
It's a big day for the manga, but it's just the two of us, and there's only 3 series to get through. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into plugs. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Also, I have a second podcast known as the Shweekly. It's a news satire podcast, kind of parroting the New York Times podcast, The Daily. So if that sounds like it's fun for you, check it out. It's the Shweekly. It's on Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, really. Check it out. And that's it for me. Josh, where can they find you?
At JD Poe_37, that's on Instagram, and at New Jump City Josh, that's on Twitter. I'm private on both.
Oh.
You already know.
Oh, yeah. You can find Brian at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram. And also, sometimes he streams on twitch.tv/It's Punchline. So check him out on there. And if you want to follow the show itself, you can follow it at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. Email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about. That would be super cool if you could email us there. We only have like 1 email of questions left. So if you guys want to send us more to backlog and we can get to it at some point, please do. That would be super cool.
Affirmative.
Yeah, we're taking more emails now. So let us know. If you prefer to actually have a direct line of communication with us, you could comment on our YouTube channel, which is now uploading video again. It's not exactly, moving videos. We still don't have, our setup back and fully operational quite yet, as my computer is dead and I'm currently working off of a temporary workspace. But yeah, check us out. I've been uploading the full audio versions of the pod on YouTube as well. So if you guys want to listen on there, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, like, share, comment, all the stuff that you do with the YouTube videos that you like. Also, if you prefer audio podcasts, since we're going to be audio for a little while, you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. We're pretty much everywhere. So check us out on any of those platforms. And yeah, that's it for the plugs. Without further ado, let's get this started.
Tell that pussycat girl me know what.
One Piece. This is One Piece chapter 1000. I almost said 10,000, but it could be. This series could go 10,000 chapters at this point.
Sure could.
But this is
I would not complain.
This is 1082. Let's go and take it. So a lot's been going on in One Piece. We're following like fucking 3 or 4 threads of storylines going on currently. Between Luffy and the others on Egghead, dealing with the crisis that is befalling upon Vegapunk, to Eustace Kid being eradicated off the face of the earth by Shanks. Law taking a pretty solid L in the hands of Whitebeard. the Garp going off to Blackbeard's island himself to go save Kobe, and using his unlimited and very powerful hockey powers in order to take down and rescue Kobe.
A hockey man? You mean a fighter who relies on hockey?
And yeah, now we're starting off in the Navy HQ in this chapter as we are opening up, coming in hot with the news that Vice Admiral T-Bone has died. Do you remember who T-Bone is, Josh? He's not here. Anyway.
Sorry, I ran to the bathroom to blow my nose, but no, I do not remember who T-Bone is.
Well,
I have no fucking clue, and I'm actually a little bit annoyed that you do.
Yeah, I
Not
know.
surprised, just annoyed.
Yeah, I do know exactly who he is. This guy, if you remember on Annie's lobby when they were going.
You said exactly. Oh my God, shut up, bro.
He was on the sea train. Remember when they were chasing?
No.
Well, you remember when Sanji went on the train to rescue Usopp and Frankie and Robin?
What train?
The sea train to go to Annie's lobby?
Oh yeah. The train over the water, right?
Right. He was one of the
Okay.
he was one of the Navy captains on there. He was a captain at the time. And Zoro beat him in a battle that was basically a one-shot.
Hmm. Okay.
And now he's dead.
Yeah.
He was known to be a good guy who really cared for his subordinates, which is why he stayed back to fight alone against the Straw Hats that were incoming. So, rip for him. He gets one of these. Rip T-Bone. Anyway, he's dead, and apparently he...
T-Bone. Fuck T-Bone. I don't get
He
no RIP.
gets an RIP for him.
I'm putting him in the pack right now as we speak. What are you talking about? I'm about to smoke this T-Bone pack.
Oh my God. No respect for the dead on this show.
Oh no, man. We smoking Admiral packs every fucking Monday night.
He's a vice admiral.
Jump City. Vice Admiral, whatever.
Yeah.
We smoke Navy packs every Monday night. New Jump City, YouTube. Leave a like and comment.
Yeah.
And subscribe and stuff. But as Christian was saying.
Yeah. So it turns out that T-Bone was actually killed by a civilian. And we see Sengoku and Tsuru, Otsuru, I think her name is, actually discussing this. Basically, Sengoku is just talking about how, like, I can't believe that citizens are stabbing Navy soldiers in the back. I mean, we're seeing that, like, these bounties that Cross Guild has put on Navy soldiers is actually, like, giving people ideas to do this. And Tsuru, to her credit, is like, well, they are starving, and the government's not really doing anything to help them. So, I'm not saying that this is right, but hey, Buggy's got our number here. Yeah,
I really, really enjoyed that line more than you even know. Like, fuck out of here.
Yeah,
they turning their back on us. Like, the fuck have you done for us? We ain't dying. Like, eat a dick. Fuck y'all. For real.
No, for sure. But yeah, Sengoku, being the op that he is just like, well, we need to strike down Cross Guild. The sooner the better. They'll sap the morale of our troops. And he turns over to Hina and he's like, hey, have you seen Garp? And Hina reveals that Garp has gone on to save Kobe with some members of Sword and Kujaku, which, if you remember, she's the one who, like, whips things and makes them subservient to her. And I believe she's Suru's granddaughter. If I remember correctly. So they're shocked because they didn't know that Garp went off on his own, because Garp marches to the beat of his own drum, even within the Navy.
Garp sounds like a flavor of Gatorade.
What?
No? Garp?
Garp? I don't know about that.
No?
Garp?
Not.
What kind of flavor would that be?
I actually don't have any real substance behind that statement other
Yeah.
than pure just feeling and vibes.
Oh man, the intrusive
Cards
thoughts
on the
really
table.
won, huh?
Yeah,
It's okay.
you did. Yeah, my dear.
I wouldn't say that Garp sound. I think like Garp. I don't know if it's a play on words with like the word carp, which is like a fish,
Yeah, maybe
but I don't know.
flavored Gatorade.
Fish flavored Gatorade.
No, thank you.
Keep that away from me.
Good on that. Yeah.
I don't need those
Sorry,
electrolytes.
guys. I did not mean
No, why
to
would you
do
do
that.
that to us, Josh? I mean,
That's
what the fuck?
my fault.
Um,
My bad.
Well, anyway, we cut over to the island of Empty Bluffs, which is the headquarters of Cross Guild, as we know. And we actually meet the man who killed T-Bone. He's talking to Buggy, and he's like, "I hear the money the money that I got for killing T-Bone got sent to my family. So thank you very much, sir." And
Wow. See, this is why I wish Brian was here so he could say shit like based. You know what I'm saying? It's not my place to say words
Yeah.
like that.
No,
I'm
we
not
need
that
a
kind of person.
we need a young
But
person
Brian
to
is
say
a
all the
Redditor.
cool things.
Yeah. I know Brian isn't on Reddit. I mean, I don't think so anyway. But he for sure can play that role for us at New Jump City Podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, he
You know,
can. He
big
keeps us young, you know.
Yes. He's the youngest, so he gets defaulted to that.
Yeah,
We're ageist.
for sure. Definitely ageist. So yeah, this guy's thanking Buggy for sending the money to his family, and he's like, and basically he can't go back to his family because he's killed a Navy vice admiral. But
Are they waiting?
yeah, so
Outsiders go every day.
yeah, and Buggy reminds him of this.
No, never.
And Buggy reminds him of this. He's like, "Of course you can't go back home. You've eliminated the vice admiral from the Navy headquarters. You're a champion of evil. From what I hear, the incident set the Navy into a panic. If they ever find you, they'll surely strike your head from your shoulders."
Not making him feel better.
Yeah, but you know what? He's cool with it because as long as his family can like survive, you know, it's better than letting them starve, even if he will never see them again.
Right.
And hey,
Well, I'm not gonna say right, but I respect that. I understand.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, you
More
know,
than the Navy's doing.
for the
Oh
most,
man, Oda better chill before he gets canceled.
Wait, what?
My Hero Academia. Yo.
wait, what?
Sympathizing with villain? Oh no.
Oh no.
Nah, because you remember how people got they panties in a bunch over My Hero Academia?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the difference here is that like these guys.
Oda may be a god, but gods can be smited as well.
That's true.
It can be.
Yeah. I don't know. I get.
You know,
Yeah,
unless we're talking about Christian Judeo God, then I guess he's invincible or whatever.
He is invincible. Our Christian Judeo God. Anyway, so Buggy's like getting the troops all riled up. You know, everything's all good. They actually finished the ship the flagship of the Cross Guild, and it is basically designed entirely in honor of Buggy. Even the masthead is of Buggy.
Which
And-
normally would be dope, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
Buggy would be pretty excited about that normally, but then Crocodile and Mihawk pull up behind him and is like, "We're not riding this fucking clown ship, bitch." And they take him to the meeting room and beat the shit out of him and hang him by his, I guess, his head hook that they
right,
have.
and ain't no punchline there. I mean, that's it. That's what they did.
Yeah.
They punched him, bro.
Yeah, they beat him up for the crime of his people making a ship out of his image. So yeah, basically Crocodile and Mihawk are starting to talk about their next move, and they're trying to like figure out how to get kind of overwhelming strength in some sense. They figure that they're gonna need to buy like well, that they'll need massive wealth and power and stuff. And Buggy is just thinking to himself like, "This is all wrong. This is the life that I wanted for myself." And as they're talking, Buggy just starts an outburst. He's like, "Kill me if you want, but I gotta get this off my chest." And he's like, he's talking to Crocodile and Mihawk and saying that they're small town boys. They're not aiming high enough right now. He's saying that like he sees that like Red Hair is making his move, and he reminds them that like, hey, we both rode on the Pirate King's ship, but neither of us were able to go to Laugh Tale with the others. So think back when you were young. What did you want to be? And we get a flashback actually to the day that Roger died, and Buggy like starts remembering these moments of how Shanks gave up on like the One Piece seemingly, and it kind of like took the fire out of his belly to continue onward with the same goal. We get the flashback of Buggy just be like, "Hey, remember that you take your ship to Laugh Tale one day," and Shanks says that he changed his mind, and he says that for now he doesn't really feel like trying to get there, but he'll still be a pirate. And Buggy took this as like, "Whoa, he's giving up. I thought you were going to be the next king of the king of the next generation." And Shanks, tries to be like, "Hey, come with me, Buggy." And he's like, "I'm not going to work under you." And Buggy runs off because, I guess he didn't believe that Shanks at the time was going to be the next guy. But then he notices now in the present time that Shanks is now on the move, making his moves towards the One Piece. And the fire in his belly is reignited. And he's like, if he's going to do it, then I want to be king of the pirates. He says, "Power, wealth, we'll have it all. Let's go take it. The greatest treasure the world has ever known." And Crocodile and Mihawk seemingly beat him again. And they're just talking shit about like, they say that titles can create a false sense of superiority. I've never seen anyone this full of themselves. And I guess Crocodile and Mihawk don't really want part of this. And he's like, "There's no plan, no preparation. Pirating is a business." And
well, they mentioned that they also had to contest with Shanks, Blackbeard, and they actually mentioned Luffy, which I'm glad because at least Crocodile guys asked me about Luffy.
Yeah, they know.
Mihawk would be stupid to think that he can just pull up to Luffy's crew or anybody,
Yeah, I mean, I guess like what he's saying is that in order to get the One Piece, they have to beat the 4 emperors. Like one of the 4 emperors has to win in order to get to the One Piece. So, they're basically bringing that up to him, and he's like, "No, we don't have to fight them. We just have to beat them to the punch." And in the meantime, as Buggy is talking, there's a transponder snail right next to him as he's talking about all this. And he's talking directly to his people as Crocodile and Hawkeye are trying to get him to stop talking. But he's like, "Tell me, what was the dream that you took out to sea?" And he's literally, the men in the Cross Guild are like, "Chairman Buggy is kindling the lost light of our innocence." He's like, "Are your souls crying out for meaning? Don't be cowards, soft and satisfied with the status quo. Reach out for what you want most of all. Remember, I've got your back." And he says, "Let's go and take it. The One Piece is ours." And they basically got the entirety of Crosskill on Buggy's side, leaving Mihawk and Crocodile pissed the fuck off because their entire fighting force is now super duper loyal to Buggy and not them. Pretty crazy. We then cut over to the Kamabaka Queendom, which is Eva's island where the revolutionaries are still hanging out. We meet some more members of the Revolutionary Army, the vice captains of each of the 4 Revolutionary Army ships. We have Ushiano, who's this weird cow thing. We have Ahiro, who's Bello Betty's subordinate, who has like a robot arm, which is pretty dope. We have Gambo, Lindbergh's subordinate. And we have Jiron, Karasu's subordinate. And they're all, keeping watch on the ridge of the island, and they notice a ship coming down. And lo and behold, it's Sabo. Sabo has returned to the island, see, with apparently the island of Lulusia in tow. So, yeah, everybody's just reuniting with Sabo. Uh, he basically saved everybody from Lulusia since we last saw him. And Bello Betty seems to be like, I guess, welcoming the people and telling them to rest before they join the army. And we cut over to this meeting room with Eva, Dragon, and Sabo as they're kind of like talking about Kuma and all that stuff. And Dragon apologizes for wasting all his hard work, because it seems that like he seems programmed to return to Marie Joie at any moment. So all the stuff that happened at the Reverie was for nothing, it seems.
Seemingly.
Yeah. And Eve is like, "Are you sure we can't tell the captains about all this?" And he's like, "No. I mean, I'm afraid not. Listening could put their lives in danger." And he talks about how the Reverie was truly a wild affair. And the chapter ends with Sabo revealing that he will tell them everything about what actually happened at Marie Joie. And that's where the chapter ends. Josh, what did you think about One Piece chapter 1082?
Another one of those.
Ooh.
This was an excellent chapter, man. A couple key moments I want to talk about, but aren't you so happy that after a cliffhanger like this, we get One Piece in another week?
Oh
6
my
days,
God,
actually.
bro.
Yeah, it's very nice. I went to check immediately.
Me too. The second I heard that, like, they're going to reveal what happened at the Reverie, I was like, oh no, please don't tell me it's on a break.
Yeah. So I'm going to say this. A theme for all 3 chapters this week is that I was left thinking, man, I cannot wait until next Sunday to read these. And it's been a long time since I felt that way, like in general, because I've been reading manga so long. But anyway, specific to One Piece, there's a moment, I think page 8, it starts. It's when Buggy is talking to Shanks in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Oda's so good at this, where you have a character that's been present for so long, and we knew there's more to Buggy than him just being this silly clown dude. But he gives us this slight moment where it's like, there's a reason he kind of went from being on on Roger's crew, from being like on such a notable and famous pirate crew to just kind of, I guess, slumming it out, so to speak, or just being such small time, because he gave up on, I guess, what ambitions he got from being on that crew when Shanks told him that he didn't want to keep pursuing that goal. So it only happened in about 2 pages, but it gave a lot of insight to Buggy. And so him saying that, all right, now I want to chase the One Piece because he's doing it, it felt very like, I don't know if shonen is the word, but I felt that. It didn't feel like a narrative ploy or something like that. It seemed like natural that he'd want to go hard about that. Like, look at the position we're in. Just like, you guys are being cowards, man. Like, that's the whole point of being pirates, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be to get the treasure and be prideful, whatever, be swashbuckling. Like, y'all playing it too cool. Y'all being mad safe. So I like that. I've always liked Buggy. I always thought he was a funny character and had a cool power. But this was a very, very cool moment for him. Also, let's play a little game, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all of the Revolutionary Army vice captains that were introduced, who is the most One Piece character?
Oh man, it has got to be between.
Would you like me to go first, or
you could go first if you want? I already have my answer.
I can't. All right, I don't know, but I want. All right, before you answer, I want to say this: you have to take into consideration that Ahiru, Bella Betty's subordinate with the robot arm,
Mhm.
she actually says her robotic noises out loud. I'm assuming
That
those
is
aren't
very
sound
true.
effects, that she's actually making the sound
She is making the
like she
sound
was a
with her
child.
mouth.
Yes.
She is saying the
So
words.
that cannot be ignored. You know
You're
what I
right.
mean? That has to play. So all right, I'll tell you this. I'll eliminate one right now, and that's going to be Jiron. I don't think that like he's not a very One Piece character. It's just that he doesn't compare to
Yeah,
the other three.
of the other three, he is the least One PC character there is.
Okay. So
I
let's
agree
see
with
if we
that.
could agree on this further. With that information said with the girl, because I know you said two before, and I think I knew who, but I think we could eliminate Ushiano on the right.
No,
As weird
I was
as
gonna say
no,
Ushianu's the man.
You think? All right, that's
I think
the guy.
Ushianu is the guy because he's an animal, but he's also
Yeah.
weird.
You're right. He is an animal.
He
That's
seems
right.
to be a mink, from what I could tell.
Sure.
It's either that
whatever.
or he is a Zoan user. But
or just an animal.
well, animals can. When there's an animal who could talk, they have to be a mink.
Oh, there's hard rules for that in One Piece. I guess I haven't noticed over the years.
Yeah. He's got to be a mink, right?
Sure.
Man.
Well, my answer is Gambo.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
I would
the
put him
mustache,
second. I would put him second for sure.
You know what Ushiano might be, right? You see how he was able to put that down to two possibilities. What the fuck is this guy?
Well, I don't even know what Ushiano is because he looks like a cow, but he also looks like a dog.
He's like a mole or something. He's like a groundhog, maybe with horn. I don't know.
Ushiano? No. Ushiano is some kind of weird cow mole dog.
He's a digger, I think, because his Morley is his boss.
Yeah, Morley is the guy who
like I think
merges with. He goes underground and stuff. He's weird. He's got that weird giant shit going on.
Bro, I don't know, but I can guess what Ushiano is. We can draw. Where can you begin with Gambo? What you know? Is that his fruit? Maybe.
No. Well, I think
probably just his actual biology. He was probably
what if Gambo's a cyborg?
I'm sorry?
What if Gambo is a cyborg? Lindbergh is like an inventor, kind of, sort of.
True. He could, yeah, he could be. All right. Well, there you go.
Ahiru is pretty close. Just because she does the sound effects. The sound effects really like bring her in.
Yeah, it holds it down.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's about it. What are your thoughts on this chapter?
Oh my god, it is just so cool. I could read One Piece all day. I love like Oda is clearly like setting up the stage for the final war. He's like putting the chess pieces in motion for like the final battle. You know.
Yeah.
We got Shanks on the move. Blackbeard's doing stuff. Garp is on the scene. We have Cross Guild actually moving forward towards the One Piece. We got like the revolutionaries about to probably make their move after what they got to hear from Sabo. And we're meeting more and more of the revolutionaries as time goes on. So those are just more chess pieces that are being put on the board. As if we needed any more. It's just so cool to see Oda like building to the crescendo, even if it is kind of a slow build. Like even still, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know I hope we do get like that payoff from Sabo. Part of me thinks that we won't get it because we've been hopping around so many times. So I would ideally like next chapter to open up immediately with what happened at Reverie.
Please.
Please,
right?
Oda, please. But you can't keep doing this to us. It's not fair. But yeah, I really like this chapter a lot. And this is by the way, the audience voted really good chapter of the week.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Unanimous vote. It was One Piece this week for the audience. And if you guys wanted to vote for your favorite chapter, you could hit us up on at the YouTube channel for New Jump City, where we do a really good chapter of the week poll an hour or two after the chapters drop on Viz's official website. So you could take your your vote on the poll and let us know what you guys think was the best chapter. But for this week, it was One Piece, and man, it's just so cool, bro.
Was this yours?
No, it wasn't yet.
Oh.
I feel like if we get what we hope we get next week might be my pretty hardcore RGC no competition. I'm very excited for what comes next. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about One Piece. This was like a cool build-up chapter, and I guess one thing I did want to say is building off what you said about Buggy. I feel like Oda does this often, where he's just a master of recontextualizing characters that have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So
You say, well put.
he's done this like a bunch of times with a bunch of different characters, and there's still probably a couple characters that are due for that. I feel like Crocodile is one of those characters that we're gonna get a lot of context about later.
Mhm.
So, I'm very excited for what comes next. The designs of the revolutionaries are cool. I want to know what their powers are.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them. I want them to do cool stuff
Not later, but now.
right
you know
now.
what? I thought it was. How do you feel about the information about Kuma? Because I thought it was a little anticlimactic, unless there's still something,
What do you
to
mean
be
the
said
information?
about Kuma heading to Marijoa.
I think like this is just conjecture on Revolutionary's part, where they don't really know. They're just like, well, I guess, he had his free will taken away, so he probably does have it. He just has a directive that if he's taken away and he can escape, he will.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a lot of that does seem like everything they went through would have been for naught. But I think that's the whole point of telling us what's going to happen, because that matters more than, I guess, what the results.
Yeah, I mean, they may have lost something in Kuma, but they did gain important information regarding their mortal enemies. So there's a lot to look forward to here. But I don't have much else to say in regards to One Piece. Fantastic chapter overall. I cannot wait. This was a shorter chapter than usual. This is like 16 pages. But a lot got communicated in that time. So I'm excited for what's to come. Josh, any rebuttals? Anything to add?
Nope.
Alrighty then. Let's move
Great
on.
chapter.
Great chapter.
We call that easy money, GG.
My Hero Academia. This is My Hero Academia, chapter 387, Congealing. Last we left off, I gotta remember what happened last week, because it's been like a couple weeks since My Hero came out. Last we left off, we seen Todoroki and Ida heading off to take down not Toga. Toya. And they went off. All Might is about to face off against All For One. And we open this chapter with Geten from the Paranormal Liberation Front. Redestro, one of Redestro's henchmen. And he's talking about the Himura bloodline. This family known as Himura, who were village leaders, and even after the agricultural revolution, they maintained their wealth and pride by creating branch families, and they didn't want to dilute their blood, apparently. So they had like these arranged marriages between branch families, which are distant relatives, to keep their bloodline pure, I guess. And he's relaying this story to Mr. Compress, who is actually, I'm happy to see, survived, despite the fact that he basically got a whole chunk of his side like removed as a result of the initial war arc.
Yeah.
So good to see that he's alive. But yeah, Geten goes on to explain that by insulating themselves and making themselves such an exclusive bloodline, they began to shrink and wane, and the head of the family started selling off children into marriage, which
Mm.
was basically the end of their line. And the few remaining families and their members were scattered, including Geten, which is actually quite the revelation when you think about it. Um, that Geten is actually Todoroki's distant relative to a degree.
Right.
Um,
Hey, by the way, going into this chapter, Himura sounded familiar to me, but I didn't realize it that he was Todoroki's relative. But
yeah,
yeah,
I think like that it's implied that on his mom's side.
right, obviously,
Yeah, because of the ice.
yeah,
But he talks about how with each generation, meta abilities grow more complex, deeper, and richer, like layered sediment in a body, with some powers lying dormant unbeknownst to the user. So, you know, he goes, he then goes over, okay, your turn. Hear anything good from cops or heroes? Whatever you got to entertain me. We're just killing time until the battle's end. And we cut back over to Endeavor, who is just basically up against the flaming sun level inferno that is Toya at this point. Um, so he's just hearing the information that Toya is primed to explode, basically. Um, so Endeavor is just kind of internalizing all this. I forgot he lost his arm for some
yeah.
some reason. I was like, God damn, this is rough
His
for him.
wound is beyond cauterized though, so I
Yeah.
think he'll be okay.
He's got a super cauterized arm right now. He ain't got to worry
Yeah.
about shit. So he's basically I think his leg is all fire too. Is that Am I wrong about that? I don't know.
Mm.
So
I don't
yeah,
know.
he's at the end of his rope. He's not doing good. And as Toya is approaching him, he's like, "Dad, watch me, watch me." And as Endeavor's watching his son fucking bulldoze towards him, he gets a vision of a younger Toya being like, "Look what I figured out how to do," as he smacks down with this giant fire fist,
Mm.
bringing
Yeah,
on
flash fire fist actually.
causing what looks to be immense amounts of pain to Endeavor. And
Yeah.
he starts yelling to Toya to put out the flames because, he's obviously going to die at this point.
Dude,
And
Toya lost his arm doing that punch.
yeah, it's burnt away and he's about to lose the other one. It's all crumbling away. And Toya's not even here anymore. He's basically yelling like, "Natsu, let's play." He's just not in his right mind, obviously. And Endeavor's like, his mind's long gone. This fire is hot enough to burn even me. So how is it possible that he could still hold himself together? And as Endeavor starts to look deeper into Toya's chest, we get a flat I guess kind of a narration about how there's a visceral sense of danger when facing death, and a near-death experience can trigger a quirk to awaken. On the other hand, people can summon absurd power in a crisis, like Bakugo did, when it's do or die. That's different than a quirk awakening, and it's a power that only manifests when the Reaper draws near. And we get this big splash page of the ice quirk actually developing within Toya's body, which is seemingly how he's been able to keep himself together at this point. Like the only thing that's keeping him alive.
Yeah.
And Endeavor realizes this, and we just get this visage of him and a fully put together Toya, and he's just like, "I take full responsibility." And he says, I swore to bear that burden and live my life atoning for it all. However, you've been watching me all this time, and while I couldn't be there to watch you, you were someone I especially needed to do right by." So He says, "It's always the same dream. My whole family's there, but not me." And he says, "I can't let you meet your end alone." And he grabs Toya and just like bear hugs him basically with one arm. And he says, "I won't let anyone else get caught up in our tragedy." And he starts to like rocket himself upward with his fire powers. And he's starting to realize that he can't cover ground quickly enough. So, he's going to take everyone to the sky. He's going to take Toya to the sky to, you know, just take his fire straight up there so he doesn't hurt anybody else. And he senses that like he's about to explode. It's not looking good. But then we get just like a black panel of saying that Himura blood runs thick, and we get a 2-page spread to close out the chapter with the Todoroki mom pulling up using her ice power seemingly to delay, I guess, the explosion on Toya's part. And that's where the chapter ends. Big fucking deal chapter. Josh, what did you think about My Hero Academia chapter 387?
This was incredible. This was my really good chapter of the week.
Same. This was also my really good chapter of the week.
Yeah, let's just get it out the way.
Yeah, this is a unified, really good chapter of the week.
We didn't
Unified RGC. Unified RGC. Unified RGC.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is Brian's.
Yeah.
Call. So I don't have that much to say. That the chapter didn't just kind of like blatantly put out, but this is one of the very few storylines that has gotten a ton of attention and that has evolved through multiple arcs, So any sense of finality for Endeavor and his family feels earned, and like there was a long road to getting here, which is why it evoked a lot of emotions out of me reading it. There were a few panels that made me kind of freeze and just kind of look, and it kind of like, you look at something, you feel something, you kind of feel it in your chest, and you're like, wow, man, like that's incredibly sad. The first one was on page 7, after he was saying like, it's the fact that it was followed up by him like saying, "Oh, like Dad, watch me," because that was his desire as a child. So it's not that he just sees him as his little boy. It's the way he's saying it too, and like the move he hit him with his father's move, where he probably had this scenario been really different had he survived and not been a villain. He could have been such an incredible hero. But aside from that, it's heartbreaking, and it's the art carries this chapter so hard. I mean, I like the narrative buildup I already spoke on. They have put a lot of work in to get to this point, especially with Endeavor and him changing and learning a lot as a father and accepting, his failures and his wrongdoings and trying to be the best he could be moving forward. I really appreciated that, and he's owning up to it all by facing his child, because he's not Endeavor's not directly responsible for everything Toya's done, but that's your child, like you created him, and he, even aside from the way he treated him, growing up, I think still, like, you can't. Yeah, this is tough. It's just hard as a parent to like to face what your child done, because that's a part of you too. Man, it's a lot going on with not much being said, like on certain pages. But even when you have Endeavor, like when I had this if you go to page 12, where he has this full panel, this vertical panel of like a bunch of flashbacks. I can't recall every moment like on there, but I don't really think that's the point.
Mhm.
It's how he's delivering these pages from this one to how he's seeing Toya like for who he is. Like in this picture, he's not seeing him as a child. Like he's like seeing him eye to eye almost. And I think it's really there's some symbolism there with how they both have lost the arm and they're connecting with each other's fire to their physical arm. So it's like they're connecting, but they're also not connecting. So it's like a bittersweet thing. That's what I got from that picture. You see which one I'm looking at?
Yeah. Yeah, when
Yeah, it
it's like
was
a
man.
full-grown
That
baby.
one, yeah, that panel hit me when I read it the second time. A little bit before we started the pod, I didn't even notice the fires. The two firearms like holding each other. So and then for that to happen, and then him to kind of deliver it straightly. That's it. I take responsibility. It's like I know what I have to do, and I love my son, and I'm gonna go out with him. I don't know. I felt like it started to transform into him doing the right thing as a hero, to him saying that I'm just gonna be there for my child, as much as I can, up until this point. And that was, I don't know, man, that was really emotional. And then for the end, to be followed up with the mother coming into, to hopefully salvage the situation any way she can. I had called this out. Well, I don't want to say I called it out, like, but I had said that I really needed to see this happen, but I didn't know what to expect. I actually thought that this situation might have been solved by like Toya and I mean not Toya, Todoroki and Ida. Well, who knows? We'll see what happens in the next few chapters. But man, the timing of this, like she Ray is here to also accept her responsibilities too. You know what I'm saying? Like to show Endeavor, like, yo, like I've also been thinking and reflecting, and you're not alone in this. This is our child, and bro, I don't. It's hard to even form the words, man. This is such an emotional roller coaster of a chapter. Um, and I always think about Bakuman. For those that don't know, it was a manga about basically manga artists trying to make it. But anyway, there's a point in the story where one of the characters makes a chapter with no words in it. It's just art. I always think about that when I see chapters with just page after page incredible art and not too much to say. I mean, there was a lot of narration in this, don't get me wrong. But ooh, when it wasn't words, it was just filled with beautiful art and effective art. And I don't know. I think I've said enough. I want to hear what you had to say, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I mean, I think this was like just such a
Yeah.
great chapter. Obviously the whole like Todoroki storyline is one of the longer running storylines in the story. Probably like second to everything that's been going on with Midoriya. It's like probably the second most prevalent storyline in the series. And we've always said that if this is executed well, it could be like a very special thing. Um, I really appreciate what this series is doing in terms of, because this is a really hard story to do. Like I think a lot of lesser writers would have gone for more of a redemption arc for Endeavor, and not to say that this isn't technically one, but it's also like it's not one in the way that we're familiar with, where there is a confirmed sense of forgiveness within the story. And I think that was always the line that this story needed to walk, is not completely condoning or like letting Endeavor off the hook for his past abuse, which he was like pretty like brutally abusive to his kids and his family. Um, so it is cool that Endeavor is just like in this mode where he understands that like he may never fully like atone for this, but you know, what counts is that he's doing his best selflessly and not doing it to assuage his own guilt, but to do right by the people that he's wronged. Uh, and to also prevent the traumas that he's inflicted on people to have an effect on the outer world, which is really important. And really what makes Endeavor such a special hero is recognizing that his actions in regards to his children have had a direct impact on the world.
Yeah.
And especially in a world as like hyper realized as this, where, like individual people are more dangerous and should be treated with more kindness and respect in general, so that their trauma doesn't inflict outward. So yeah, I just thought this is, Horikoshi, this is like a really competently told story, and it's obviously not over yet. But man, it's been a ride, man. This is a really good story. And Ray showing up is something that, I've always said, and I think we've all said on this podcast, that this story would feel incomplete if Ray wasn't involved in some sort of way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all said it.
Yeah. So
And yeah, I don't think I was the only one.
yeah, and it's probably not even just us. I'm pretty sure anybody who reads this series is like, yeah, this
right.
is,
It's kind of
it's not saying that I'm a genius or anything, but it's just like, yeah, obviously this kind of thing had to happen. And I'm sure that when Shoto gets there and the rest of the kids, I feel like this entire family is going to find a way to come together to resolve this issue in a way where hopefully Dabi doesn't die, and this family kind of gets a chance to rebuild and to move forward.
Yeah, I'm hoping Ray could put him in a fucking frozen crystal or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if anybody could do it, it's probably Todoroki, because his ice powers, he's honed them more than his fire powers at this point.
Facts. They just need to hold it down until they pull up.
And I believe the other kids, like I think the oldest sister has ice powers, if I remember right. So I know one of the other kids also has ice powers, so maybe they'll help as well.
That would be nice. She's getting burnt to a crisp though.
Yeah, it's not.
I wonder if she has a similar like weakness to fire. I guess
I think she does.
Not that regular human skin would help much more, but
no.
It kind of says something.
Yeah, I think they mentioned that Ray is not very like strong towards fire. Like she's not particularly strong towards fire.
Well, then again, Toya's issue was that he probably has the same skin condition that or temperature condition that the mom does, but he couldn't generate ice where she can. So I guess that kind of explains how she's dealing with it. But I'm sure it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Even Endeavor's getting burnt up.
Yeah, it's not looking good. But yeah, this was a fantastic chapter. One of the better chapters of My Hero Academia. And
there's something I wanted to bring up.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I didn't know if you had it. All right. So on page 10, when they start talking about how he develops how quirks can develop at different points, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say this. In a lot of other chapters, I wouldn't have cared for the fact that they just created something on the spot to deal with this scenario. But because the writing was so well and the chapter was executed so well, it came off as poetic. It I don't know. I feel like it kind of like it offset the fact that it was, I guess, I don't want to say an asshole, but definitely a sudden change to how we understand work. Or like with how they function, and yeah, like it was totally okay. It made the story more interesting, and I didn't feel like it was trying to like solve a little situation real quick with quirky writing or some patchwork. It made it more emotional.
Yeah, I didn't think too. I didn't think too much of it just because like they set a precedent with Bakugo, and it's not like a huge leap in logic, especially since we know that quirks are like this constantly evolving thing, and there is like kind of um there is a uniqueness to quirks as a power system where that they are as much as a part of like your humanness as anything else. They're not like separate from you as a person. They're almost like in your DNA in that sense where if you grow and change, so do they. Um so yeah, I didn't really think too much of it. I think it made sense, especially since like the quirks of people tend to be a combination or one of the parents' quirks. Um but I know what you mean though. I think it makes sense what you were saying as well. I feel like it wouldn't have hit as hard if Bakugo didn't go through it first, though.
Yeah, that was a good point. I just wanted to let you finish, but yeah, I didn't. I guess I interpreted it differently because the way he phrased it was that this was something new.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought, I don't know. I felt like what happened with Bakugo was more like of the expected. Like, yeah, quirks will evolve, not something brand new. Like he's developing like a second quirk.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and it's saying that specifically when you're on death's door, like when you're about to die. Whatever. I think you're right. I think a precedent was set though, to be fair. So maybe that's why, maybe subconsciously, that's why I wasn't, that upset by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great stuff. Great job, Horikoshi.
For sure. We give you
Super
props.
RGC, bro.
Yeah,
RGC
we give you props when you
mushroom.
deserve it, you know? But yeah, is that anything else, or do you want to move onward?
No, I'm ready to move on.
Alrighty, let's go. Oh, jeez. Undead Unluck. I'm gonna pass it over to Josh now because he's gonna cover Undead Unluck for us.
Yes, sir. This is chapter number 157, Save You by Yoshifuma Tozuka.
Ooh.
Last week, the team made it to the space station where Phil and his mom are held captive, and they ran into Phil, who they were surprised to see talking and moving normally within the vacuum of space without a spacesuit or anything to breathe. So yeah, this week actually starts with a character poll, which I thought was pretty interesting. I guess I'll name off like the top 5 and move on. So Fuko, Andy, then Gina, of course. 4th was Anoan. I'm really happy about that. That's one of my favorite characters just because of the name, the pun.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for it. Okay, and then 5th is Shen. Yeah, checks out. All right. So yeah. Phil, the unfeel negator child, brings the team to his room where he says, I need to eat some food, so hang on for a second. Which I don't know, I thought was weird. I was like, well, you didn't need oxygen, so I don't understand how you would need food, but what else? They're taking a look around the room, and Fuko just starts to think about how, she couldn't predict this scenario, like, I guess just from the artifacts. So she's really questioning, like, how's Phil moving around and shit. Like, she's having basically doubts if this is actually Phil, because it could be a Uma impersonating him or something like that. You got to stand on your toes, right, in this Uma world.
Mm-hmm.
So, so Phil basically sits down on this chair and jacks into this. He plugs into a chair.
He's charging.
That was about to sound crazy. Yeah, he plugs into a chair, and we figured out that he's a robot. He's like, you got a mechanical body? He's like, yeah. When I was 3, I got sick, So instead of taking me to a doctor, my mom put my brain into a robot body.
Damn.
Yes, I didn't make that up. That was actually what's written on the page. So Fuko responds how I probably would have responded as well, which is, "Oh, I see."
Wow.
As he continues to say that she transplanted his body. I mean, translated his brain and nothing else. But mom says that I'm not a robot. Sure. Sure, bro.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
not a robot. I guess
technically he's
you're
not.
a
He's like,
cyborg,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, technically he'd be a cyborg.
Yes. He says, but proportionately speaking, I'm under 10% organic tissue. Yeah, he's mostly robot.
Yeah.
But he says, I think that calling me a robot is just fine. Man, this I'm joking around a lot, but like this is kind of morbid, man. Like his mom put him into a fucking robot body.
Yeah.
So, everyone, well, not everyone, earlier in the panel, Foucault kind of looked towards the science guy. What's his name again?
Nico.
Nico, thanks, bro.
That's what I'm
Looks
here
like towards Nico because I know she's like, damn, are you feeling some kind of way about this? So he goes, Nico goes up to Phil and he's like, he looks at his like arms and you can notice there's like a bunch of wounds on it. Well, not wounds, I guess, damage because he's a robot, not a
Mhm.
person.
Wait, well,
Yeah,
do robots get wounds?
No, robots don't have wounds. They sustain damage.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
I didn't know
They
there
don't
was a
have
hard line
medical
in the
terms.
sand for that.
They need repair, not healing.
Aw.
So Nico straight up asks him, do you love your mom? Because I'm tell you this, I fucking hate her right now.
I don't
That's
like
how
your
I
mom.
feel.
I think your mom sucks.
I think your mom super sucks, Bill.
This is
But
fucked
yeah,
up, Phil. Your mom sucks.
it feels like, yeah, I love her most of all.
Ooh. Sorry I
Like,
said all that then.
Sure. Did she program that?
Did you program her loving you?
Right. Beep beep boop. Well, you must love me.
Beep 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 boop. Run love.exe.
Poor kid. So his mom is like he's letting them know that his mom is like in a shelter down on the second floor of the central tree. It gave us a really nice little picture. I guess it's in that second ring connected to like the middle part that's broken off. I was hoping she wasn't in the broken off part.
But yet there she is.
Bueno. Yeah. So yeah, Phil's explaining that he decided to, call out for help because he didn't need hair, and that the shelter won't last much longer. So they gotta get it, gotta get a move on, and plus they're getting targeted by them. But don't worry, guys. This trope won't hit us too hard because we're gonna find out the identity of them very soon. So they're moving through through the space tunnel hallway, debris and all that, and I guess Fuko's like stuck in serious thought because she's trying to figure out like what's the situation at hand still. She mentions to Nico how like back in the previous loop they didn't unlock Galaxy until like way later, where I guess they Galaxy was a lot. I think we seen Galaxy get unlocked in this loop, right? As a result of one of the missions.
Yeah, I think so.
They went on. Yeah, I believe so. So she's just like, man, I don't know what the fuck to expect. But Phil stops her and he's just staring at her and he's like, man, you look like my mom right now, like when she gets mad. So hold up, I got you. He pulls out a string and do you know the name of those traps? Like you could do it with a rubber band.
Yeah, I don't remember. I never did them as a kid.
Cat's Cradle. That's the name of it. But it basically gets a rubber band and makes a little pattern with it, and he's telling Fugo to put her arm in it. Oh, it's when you put your arm through the hole and then you pull it, and it doesn't like tie around you. It's cool. It's like Yeah, I remember doing that a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, point is, it's kind of touching because like it shows that Phil for sure has emotion. He can notice that Fuko's concerned and wants to do something about it because it makes you feel happy to make someone else you care about feel happy. So all
Yeah,
right, definitely not 100% robot.
definitely not.
That's cool.
He's at least
Uh,
90% robot.
and Fuko is just touched. What can we say? But that moment is interrupted by not what I was expecting, honestly. But the them.
The them.
He says it again. It's them. And they're like, "Oh, what are those?" And Fugo's like, "Yo, Creed." He's like, "Bet." Pulls up a Gatling gun, and Phil is like, "Nah, that's not gonna work." So he seals off the chamber to them. Like he locks the team out, and Phil goes to face them on his own. He's like, like I told you, I'm gonna teach y'all like how to take care of them. So the invaders look like, how do I explain it, man? Like Gallagher bugs,
Yeah.
you
What
know?
else do they look like? I feel like they look like something else. I feel like I've seen something like this
There's like
before.
a worm. Yeah, I've seen it before too. It's like they're brown, and they have those like mouths. They're like microscopic germs.
Yeah.
They almost look like miniature versions of those big flying creatures from the Avengers that they fight in the war.
Right.
The evil
Yeah, that's
thing.
what I was thinking of.
Almost looks like that too.
Yeah.
So anyway, they just start munching on his fucking arms, like two of them, and then Phil proceeds to blast them, and he lets them know that the only way to beat them is by destroying them from the inside. Nothing's gonna penetrate like the spells. And he's just getting tore apart, and Fuko's losing her fucking mind right now. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
die. Get your robot ass over here. And he's like, nah, man, like come on. Like my mom told me that she'd do anything for the sake of someone she loves, so that's what I'm doing right now. So they get the door to open up, and Fuko pulls out a bad bullet, 45, and shoots one of these bug parasite things in the mouth. Pretty gangster, actually. Oh my! And she tells Phil that she's sorry about earlier, and he doesn't know what she's sorry about, but she was basically down if that was actually him. It is confirmed. It is Phil, just mostly robot. And yeah, she said, "We're gonna take these down," and that was the chapter. So, Chris, before you say anything, I want to say that I want to give a few thoughts real quick, if you don't mind,
Go for it.
before I lose them. So, this was a surprising chapter, uh, for me. I don't know why I didn't expect Phil to be a robot. I guess I thought it was something a little bit more mystical, something more negaty, maybe.
Hmm.
But I mean, even though it was, he's unfilled, so therefore, I guess he can get his conscious transferred and stuff. But that was, I guess, what I wanted to bring up. Like, you know how they talk about, like the negator abilities can, change depending on how the negator themselves interpret their abilities. I
Yeah.
don't. Maybe his mom through them together was able to make Phil believe that it's like he was just his mind. Like maybe not on a matter of faith, but on a scientific level. Like he understood that, well, if I can't feel anything else happening to me, but I can think, that's the only thing I know for sure, then maybe my mind is the only is all that really matters. So I thought that was interesting. Like maybe something that could have been skipped over, but I thought it was well thought out. Also, this chapter between this and My Hero Academia, they just try to wreck us emotionally, bro. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand what's good, Jump. You trying to make up for the fact that we missing a couple of chapters?
Yeah. So they won't notice JJK is not here if we emotionally damage them.
Yeah, man. Phil, the whole time it was crazy because he's a little boy, but he's he had to grow up in this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like we didn't know if it was like he got violated, like they was just testing him and doing stuff, like mistreating him, like Rocket Raccoon from the comics,
Yeah.
not the movie, because that would be a spoiler. But in the comics, he was thoroughly experimented on.
Yes, this is true.
Right. In the comics.
Only in the comics.
So, Chris, what are your thoughts on this chapter?
Yeah, I thought this chapter was pretty heart-wrenching, to be honest. I don't know too much about Phil because he only really started doing stuff towards the end of the first loop. I frankly, I didn't even remember who he was when he started showing up at that point. I thought he was always a robot already, That was like the whole point of him.
Right, like not that like he was just absorbing artifacts into his body, like he was Samus,
Yeah, I thought they
The
equipped him with
references,
a bunch of they
Mega
fused his
Man.
body with like a bunch of artifacts, and that was his deal. It's one of those things which is like the benefit of Undead Unluck's loop is that we're getting to spend more time with characters that we didn't get to do in the first run of this. But at the same time, it is like tough to like kind of remember somebody's deal who wasn't like super involved in the story before then. So it is interesting to see this like story for Phil. And I am enjoying it a lot. It was very sad that he just allows himself to get ripped apart so he could destroy the monsters from the inside.
Yeah. Very dramatic, but also necessary.
Yeah. He's just a boy. He knows not what he does. He's just a robot boy. But yeah, no, very sad chapter. But I'm glad that Fuko's there to inevitably bring some positivity into his life and save him and his mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have much else to
Yeah.
say about Undead. Good chapter overall. I had a good time reading it.
Same. Yeah. Like I said, I'm looking forward to next week too.
Oh my god, so much to look forward to next week.
Bro, I hope Phil is like they upgrade him, give him some cannons and stuff, and he just becomes this crazy powerhouse.
Yeah, Nico's gonna fix our boy up. Don't worry. But do you have anything else to add or any rebuttals or anything?
Nope. Let's wrap this up.
Yes, sir. That has been our show. Wowie zow. Thank you guys so much for listening as per usual. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram, Josh at JDCole_37 on Instagram, at New Jump City Josh on Twitter. Brian is at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram. You can catch him when he's streaming video games at twitch.tv/itspunchline. You can follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. Email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about. Check us out there or comment under the video that you're watching if you're watching on YouTube. Let us know what you guys think about this week's show, about the chapters, about anything. Let's get this engagement back up and running. That'll be super cool. Subscribe to us on YouTube because not only are we back to uploading episodes of the show on our YouTube page, we also do the really good chapter of the week poll for the audience on there. So you guys get to cast your vote on what your favorite chapter of the week is, and we reveal the results on the corresponding episode. So check us out on that. If you prefer audio podcasts, and since we're honestly going to be audio for a little while longer, subscribe to us anywhere you listen to audio podcasts. Take us on the go, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pandora, any of them. Check us out on those. And I don't think I'm missing anything else, but yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. A bit of a short one this week, but hey, next week I think we'll have basically a full house. I think Black Clover will still be missing, but I think JJK.
Right, till August. I keep forgetting.
No, that was Boruto.
Another hiatus.
That was Boruto. But I think like Black Clover's on a 2-week hiatus anyway. Let me see,
okay.
actually, since I just have it up.
That's the dirt.
It's not a derp. You just lack the proper information. Black Clover is coming back. Yeah, 2 weeks. And Jujutsu Kaisen comes out this week. So, we'll have mostly a full house. Almost everybody here. So, very excited. See you guys next week. Stay safe, New Jump citizens.
Peace out, guys.